today's movie, I just want to play this one clip from the film.
Do I really have a face like a horse?
That's the film in a nutshell. Lot of self-referential humor. Not only is this Tim Burton's first biopic, but this also happens to be one of the only biopics that I've seen that celebrates somebody who did something terrible, or something that didn't really add a value to culture, you can argue, but at the same time it does. Specifically, Ed Wood is a movie about one of the worst panned filmmakers of all time, and his journey towards making his cinematic opus of terrible movies, Plan 9 from Outer Space. The film starts off with his relationship with Bela Lugosi and then makes its way up as he builds his cast. We see his filmmaking process, learn about all of his desires, his dreams, and the little fact that he has a secret obsession with wearing women's clothes. He is not homosexual, he's just into wearing women's clothes. And I actually like that the film brings that up because it's even something brought up today where it's the assumption that if you like wearing women's clothes, you must be homosexual. So, mad props to the filmmakers for including that. As I mentioned before, when I think of a biopic, I don't necessarily think about a movie that talks about someone that hasn't done anything really good. However, I think today we're celebrating filmmakers that are terrible at what they do for the sheer fact that they're leaving an impact, just not the impact they intended to do. Something you'll notice is that when it comes to bad filmmakers, we're always like, oh, I can never be as bad as that, but you know, that's a sin to humanity. I can't be that bad of a filmmaker. However, they're still people, and they're people that still like to make movies. They're passionate about what they do. And while Ed Wood is a terrible filmmaker, he's still passionate about what he does. He loves working on the set, he loves working with his actors. Near the end of the film, I felt a little confused about how he was honoring his friend Bela Lugosi. While at the movie they established that he was very close to his friend Bela, but at the same time, when he wanted to use him as a double for the film just for the sheer fact that he wanted to sell the movie, felt like it would be something Bela would do, but at the same time something that the character they established early on, kind of like conflicts with his personality. But at the same time it's a minor nitpick and it was probably intentional just for the sheer fact that in a biopic he has to do this. He has to make Plan 9 from Outer Space, and the movie's building up to it in some ways that he's going to be making this really infamously bad movie. I know for a sheer fact that people like it when I talk about bad movies the same way people respect the films like Plan 9 from Outer Space or Monos, The Hands of Faith, whereas I like to call it Hands, The Hands of Faith. But like I'm saying, people want to see me review terrible movies. That seems to make more of an impact, riffing on how terrible something is, versus talking about things that I generally like. And while those videos also do manage to get hits, people like to see me bash the bad stuff. Which I don't mind doing, I just like talking about animation in general. And in some ways, I think it goes back to why Ed Wood has such a cultural impact on people. Because while he's a terrible filmmaker, he's so passionate about what he does, and the movies he makes are so hilariously bad. They show in the movie he only uses like one take and just goes with the first take he does. He puts together stock footage from other movies to make it seem like something else. It's a whole mess, but you gotta give Johnny Depp some credit. This is his second performance with Tim Burton, and I think he really does show this character that's very likable and could have easily been a scumbag if done by a different crew. Which also brings me to what I also love about this film that I mentioned earlier with that clip before, is that it's very self-referential. They knew exactly what they're doing with this script. There's a scene where they talk about grayscale, like would this matter, this color were in this film, and why would it matter? Because it's still gray, it still looks like a shade of gray, but it's part of that self-referential humor that makes the film work. I think Ed Wood is a film for cinephiles to check out, especially ones who love to watch the bad movies that are so good, the so bad movies that they're good. Otherwise, when we come back, we'll be talking about Tim Burton's own self-referential dip into parody, Mars Attacks.